Grade 9s, it's Miss Thungaraj here, and today we're going to do our third video together for the summative, and today's topic is simplifying and solving. And so we had a whole 2-week YouTube series on simplifying and solving, but just in case you forget or didn't have a chance to watch those videos, let's talk a little bit about the difference between simplifying and solving. When we are simplifying means make something short. So right there, we see 3 different parts. We want to make it shorter. Solving means I have an equal sign, and so I want to figure out what is x equal to. Is x equal to 5? Is x equal to 6? Is x equal to 7? Is x equal to -2? We need to find the answer for x. So simplifying and solving are different. Let's first look at simplifying, and let's look at this question here. Here, I have -12x's plus 6x's, subtract 4x's. If you want to simplify that, it means take it from being long and make it short. So we're going to do that right now. Okay, so here I have -12x's plus 6x's minus 4x's. So they're all x's, so they can all go together. So what you need to do in your calculator is you need to write the 3 numbers, -12 plus 6 minus 4. Now, we've talked about this a little bit before. If the negative is at the front, then you have to use the negative button on your calculator. If the negative is between 2 different numbers, then you need to press the subtract button. They're different things. So let me show you on my calculator what I would do. Okay, so I've got my Dollarama calculator here, and I want to do -12 plus 6 subtract 4. This is subtract, this is negative. So on this calculator, subtract is this button, and negative is this button up here. Your negative button could be a plus and a minus like this, or it might be in a bracket and a negative sign. So I'm gonna go 12, and I want to make it negative. Oops, 1 second, clear. 12 negative. Oh, I see that's minus up there. Plus 6 subtract 4 equals 10, and notice the minus sign up there, so this is a -10. So that means when I put -12x plus 6x minus 4x together, I get -10x. Now let's see if that makes sense. If I have 6 subtract 12, that gives me -6. -6 subtract 4 more gives me -10. So -10x makes sense, and this is the answer when I want to simplify. It went from having 3 parts to only having 1 part. Okay, so let's try this question next. This question is harder because it isn't just all x's. There are x's, there are x squareds, and there are numbers that don't have an x and don't have an x squared. So here's my question, and I notice that there are 2 parts that have x squared. There's 5x squared, and there's plus 7x squared. So that means this part and this part go together. So if I have 5 plus 7, that's going to give me 12x squared. Now I need to look at all the parts that have x's. So here I have -6x plus 3x and plus 8x. So I need to put those numbers together to simplify. So I have -6 plus 3 plus 8. You need to take your calculator and figure out what that is. Okay, so I'm going to use my calculator, press clear. Okay, so I have a 6, and I need to make it minus. It says minus up there. And then I have plus 3 plus 8 equals 5. And if you notice, there's no minus, so it's just 5. So that means down here, I'm gonna write down plus 5x. And then I look to see what I have left. I have a -2 and a plus 7. So I need to do -2 plus 7. I could actually change the order. I could put the plus 7 first and then the -2. So -2 plus 7 is the same thing as 7 minus 2, and 7 minus 2 is equal to 5, and that would be a plus 5. But if you're not sure about that, you could use your calculator and do -2 plus 7. And that means at the end I have a plus 5. So I have simplified. I started out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts, and now I only have 3 parts, so this is simplified. So let's do one last simplifying question where I make it short. Now this question also has x squareds, x's, and numbers with no x, but it also has a bracket. And what you need to understand is when you have a bracket and then the 2 at the front, it means 2 times or multiply by everything inside the bracket. So we'll do that right now. Okay, so this bracket and the 2 means everything inside the bracket I need to multiply by 2. I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4x squared. 2 times 6 is 12x. And 2 times 7 is 14. So I've simplified. I've gotten rid of the 2 by multiplying everything by 2. And then at the end, I have minus 5. So last step is I just need to simplify this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and I want to change it to 3 parts. X squared, there's only one x squared part, so I can't make that shorter. There's only one x part, so that has to stay the same. But here I have 2 things with no x's, so I have plus 14 minus 5. That would give me 9 on my calculator, but it's not just 9, it's plus 9. For the summative, you need to try this question. 4 bracket 3x minus 5 bracket minus 6x. You need to simplify that and decide if the answer is A, B, C, or D. Okay, so next we're on to solving. And solving does not mean make it shorter. Solving means what is the value of x? How big is x? What number is x? So let's do the question on the screen right now together. Okay, so here is my solving question. And what I want you to understand is that it doesn't matter which side you put things on. You could go, oh, you can hear my children yelling in the background. You could do this, okay? So it doesn't matter whether you put the 6 on the left or the 6 on the right. What I do know is I want to get the x by itself. And so I never move the part that's right next to the x first. I always move the part that's far away. So right here, my lovely Thungarosh children, Isaac, can you please be quiet? So I've got a plus 10 here. To get rid of the plus 10, I'm going to put a minus 10 because 10 minus 10 gives you 0, so it disappears. So over here, I'm going to do a minus 10 as well. It's an equation. We want to balance the equation. So these cancel out, and I'm left with 3x, but not just 3x, I'm left with minus 3x. And 6 minus 10 gives you minus 4. So then we want to get the x by itself. Right now, this minus 3 is being multiplied by the x. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I want to divide this, and this cancel out, this and this cancel out. All I have left is x is equal to minus 4 divided by minus 3 would give me 1.33333. Now, is there a way for me to check to make sure this is right? There is. Our x should be equal to 1.33333. That means up here in the equation, if I cross off the x, and instead I write 1.33333, this equation should make sense. That means if I take my calculator and go 10, subtract 3 times 1.3333333. Let's see what I get when I do that. If I do that on this calculator, I get 10 minus 3 times, oh, this calculator doesn't do bad math. This is a bad calculator. Any other calculator is going to give you the answer. Let me try with my computer. Okay, so if I go to my search engine up here, I delete what's up here, and if I go 10, subtract 3, and on the computer, if you want to do times, you press the little star, which means shift and 8, and you go 1.333333333. Press equals. My answer should be 6, and that's exactly what the equation said it should be equal. So that means I did not make a mistake. Okay, so let's try this question. Again, because there's an equal sign, it's not simplifying, it's solving, and I want to know what is the value of x. 5 times 6 plus 7, 5 times 8 plus 7, 5 times 3 plus 7. What is the x so that the answer is 27? Okay, so we know we want to get the x by itself. We never move the part that's right next to it at the beginning. We always move the part over here. So I want to get rid of the plus 7. So I'm going to do minus 7 on both sides. This cancels out. And I have 5x. 27 minus 7 is 20. I'm going to divide both sides by 5 because right now this is 5 times x, and the opposite of 5 times is divided by. This means divided by. So then these cancel out, and I have x is equal to 20 divided by 5. So x is equal to 4. Let's check to make sure that is right. So let's write our equation one more time. So we know that my x should be equal to 4. So I'm going to go over here, cross off the x, and put a 4. If with your calculator you did 5 times 4 plus 7, you would get 27. So that means you've done this question right. Okay, so we're on to our last question for today. And our last question is interesting because there are 3 letters, but there's also an equal sign. And the equal sign tells you that you need to solve. You need to find the answer. But in this question, there's 3 letters. So that means it's a little tricky. So let's figure out what we're going to do together. Okay, so I've written down the question. C is equal to minus 5p plus 7j. And if you notice, in the question, it tells you that j needs to be equal to 5 and c needs to be equal to 20. If you look at the page, if you look at the question, it tells you at the bottom that j should be 5 and c should be 20. And it says what you need to find out is you need to find p. You need to find out what is the answer for p. So we're going to do that together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I know that my j is equal to 5. So I'm going to go over here to where I see j. I'm going to cross off the j and I'm going to put a 5. And if these 2 numbers are right next to each other in math, it means I'm multiplying. Okay? C is equal to 20, so I'm going to go to my C, cross it off, and put a 20. And now to make it neater, I'm going to write it again. So 20 is equal to minus 5p plus 7 times 5 is going to be 35. Now, this is much more simple because now there's only 1 letter and I want to find the answer for p. So to find the answer for p, I need to get p by itself. I never move the part right next to it. At the beginning, always move the other part. So we have minus 35, minus 35. These ones cancel out. Minus 5p, 20 minus 35 is minus 15. The last step is I need to divide by 5, or actually minus 5. So that means p is going to be equal to minus 15 divided by minus 5 gives me 3. Okay, so let's just check to make sure that makes sense. So I'm going to write the equation. C is equal to minus 5p plus 7j. We knew that the j was equal to 5. We know that the p is equal to 3. So that means I need to do, these are next to each other, so I'm multiplying. Minus 5 times 3 plus 7 times 5. If you take your calculator and you go negative 5 times 3 plus 7 times 5, it's going to give you 20. And we know that's right because the C was supposed to be equal to 20. So here is the last question you need to work on today from the summative. There's 3 letters again. There's an A, there's a B, and there's a C. But it tells you at the bottom that there are 25 ants. That means the A needs to be 25. So you're going to cross off the A and put a 25. It tells you that there are 3 breadcrumbs. That means the B is equal to 3. So you're going to cross off the B and put a 3 there. And then all you need to do is use algebra to find the C. Thanks for watching my YouTube video today. If you have questions and you don't understand something, send me an email, send me a WhatsApp, send me an Instagram message, or come meet me on Google Meet and I'd be happy to help you. Have a beautiful day.